And welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome to the match preview between Valencia and Barcelona, which will be going down tomorrow night. It's a massive game, and after 3 games without a win in La Liga, we bounce back on Wednesday in sensational fashion against Tottenham. But the big question now is, can we really turn that corner? Can we continue that kind of form, produce yet another good display, and can we do it at the Mestalla against Valencia? A difficult place to go. We are going to find out. Let's do this. The big match at Mestalla will be coming to us at 8:45 local time in Spain, and you just know every time you go to that stadium it is going to be an absolutely incredible atmosphere one way or another. It's always really fiery, not always for the right reasons. You remember a few years back, bottles were thrown on the pitch when our players were celebrating, but here, as always, guys, are the times right around the world, so you don't miss this one. And as always, you guys have been heavily voting in the pre-match reckoning. What do you think is going to happen this weekend? And as from those results that you can see, what I can gauge from that is you guys are confident, you think we're going to win the game, but you also realise this is going to be a tough one. It's not going to be easy, it's going to be tight in places, and I think they're very wise predictions indeed, with the majority of you going for a win by 2 goals. But of course, firstly, I do want to discuss, that's why this preview was a little bit later than usual. First of all, I was waiting for the squad list, and then I was waiting for a certain match to finish, and I was actually waiting to see if there was another goal. And I can tell you, there was another goal. Maybe not in the way you'd expect though. It's Alaves 1, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid are right now in an absolute crisis. And although we thought we were in a crisis, they're really in a crisis, because right now they've lost this game. They are still in second place, but Alaves are on the same points as them now. They've beaten them tonight thanks to a 95th minute goal. And now Real Madrid, they haven't scored a single goal in nearly 7 hours of football under Lopetegui. Things are going wrong for them, and I'm quite happy to see that, I have to say. But Atletico Madrid will be in action tomorrow. They are very close, of course, and they've been in really good form of late. But they've got a tricky game at home against Real Betis. That'll be the game quite a few before hours on the Sunday. It is a fantastic day of football tomorrow in La Liga. So if you have got plans, make sure you cancel them, because up next after Atletico on Sunday are Sevilla against Celta Vigo. And that game is also pretty relevant for us, because Sevilla, they're in and around the top 4. They're up there right now in La Liga. It is incredibly tight, and we're going to have to look and sort of be aware of every single team around us right now. And this was actually the table going into the weekend. Things now, of course, have changed a little bit with that Alaves Real Madrid result, but just so you can see, guys, it is really congested up there. You've got Betis, you've got Atletico, you've got Sevilla, Alaves, Real Madrid, Barcelona, so many teams all really tightly packed together, which just means one thing: we have to win. We need that 3 points, no doubt about it. It is vital that we win tomorrow, get that gap, get that spirit going again, and it all comes down to what we can do against Valencia. And that brings us on to our opponents tomorrow evening. And we will talk about Valencia, who actually enjoyed a pretty poor start to the season by their own high standards. Usually Valencia are a team who are really batting around the top half of the table, European places. They want to be up there in the top 4 if they possibly can. They're currently 14th though in La Liga, with just 8 points from their opening 7 games. And that includes just a single win during those 7 games, with 5 draws, which has been their problem really. They failed to turn draws into wins, and quite simply, they have not scored enough goals. That has been their major problem this season. Under Marcelino, Valencia just haven't got going. This season, it hasn't happened in front of goal. They're actually the joint lowest scorers right now in La Liga. They've got 5 goals in 7 games, and no Valencia player at all has scored more than 1 goal so far in La Liga. And if you compare that to us, we currently have 4 different players with 2 or more goals in the league this season. And even the Champions League, Valencia haven't really fared any better. They drew 0-0 with Manchester United on Tuesday evening, and they got just 1 point to their name so far, again with no goals scored in those 2 games. But of course, if you're a team struggling for goals, if you can't put them in at that end of the pitch, you've got to be much more effective at the other end in terms of defending. And that's what Marcelino has done with this Valencia team. They're not firing right now, but they are solid. They've got a very solid base, they've got a good defensive line, a structured midfield, and they will be difficult to break down, they will be difficult to create chances against, and Valverde is going to have to come up with a way way to really penetrate that Valencia back four. They've only conceded 6 goals so far this season compared to the 8 that we have conceded in the league. And as you can see really here from the squad that Valencia have selected for tomorrow's match, they've got some really, really good players. There's a lot of quality in there. There's a good bit of young talent as well. And Marcelino is a good coach. And I think, looking at their team, looking at that squad, it is only a matter of time before Valencia get some wins together and turn around their season. But what I will say is exactly the same that I did against, when we were playing Leganes. We do not want to be the team that Valencia beat and turn their season around. Do not let that be us. Do not let that happen again. Not in this game, not right now. And in terms of previous meetings against Valencia, the Mestalla, has always been a tough place to go. We go there, it's always a real slog. And even at the Camp Nou, it's been very, very difficult for us against Valencia too. You've only got to look back to last season, really. We played Valencia 4 times in total last season, and every single game was really fiercely contested. The last time we had the Mestalla in the league, Jordi Alba got a late goal to ensure a 1-1 draw, but we still dropped points there back in November. Then in February, we faced them in the Copa del Rey, narrowly winning at home by a goal to 0 thanks to Luis Suarez, and then we won 2-0 away at Mestalla with Felipe Coutinho getting his first goal for the club. And our most recent meeting with Valencia was back in April. That was at the Camp Nou, and that was a 2-1 victory. Again, a really hard-fought win in our favour. So I think it's very safe to say that absolutely nobody coming into this game is going to think that it's easy. The players know what they're up against. Valverde's got experience against Valencia, and us fans, we know that it's going to be a tough game, but we have to navigate our way through that. We have to find a way to get the 3 points here, because in terms of the title race, it is massive right now. And with that, we will move on to the thoughts of Ernesto Valverde, who's actually had a lot to say ahead of this one. He had a lot of praise for Marcelino and Valencia. Valverde himself said that despite their goals, they're a very good team. They had a good solid base, and they could build from that in this kind of game. He did praise their defensive work. Valverde also spoke specifically about winning the midfield battle in tomorrow's game. He spoke about midfield at length. He said, that is the area that we want to gain control of the match. And that, for me, is encouraging signs, as long as Valverde chooses the right players in those areas, as we're going to come on to in the lineup very shortly. And Valverde also said that heading to the Mestalla was actually a very similar feeling to Wednesday's Champions League game away at Tottenham. He said in terms of the quality of opposition, this is like a Champions League game for us. And that, for me, gives me a lot of confidence, because we need to approach this game in exactly the same way, with exactly the same intensity that we showed at Wembley. We've got to go to the Mestalla. We've got to be up for this, because if we want to win this, we are going to have to be somewhere near our best. And here is the squad that Ernesto Valverde has chosen to our trip to Mestalla. Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Rakitic, Busquets, Denis, Coutinho, Arthur, Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Rafinha, Sillerson. Malcolm is in the squad at long last. Hopefully we see him at some point tomorrow. Longley, Alba, Munir, Arturo Vidal and Thomas Vermaelen make up the squad for tomorrow's game. And now the moment I'm sure you've all been waiting for. We are going to move on to my predicted 11 and what we have to see at the Mestalla tomorrow. And do you know what I would change from our game against Tottenham on Wednesday when we played so incredibly well? What would I change? Absolutely nothing. I would go to Mestalla and I would say to exactly the same 11 players, go out there and perform in the way that you did, and let's just get some rhythm about our play. Let's get some familiarity with this kind of team. It's massively important to me that we start with the same back four, because if you look at good defensive teams, what do they always have? They have a consistency about the players that play week in, week out, so they get an understanding and they get a real confidence all amongst themselves playing week in, week out with each other. Alba, Longley, who I thought played really well at Wembley against Tottenham, Piqué, who hopefully now is coming back into a bit of confidence and form, Semedo, who needs game time week in, week out, and the midfield, exactly the same goes there. Absolutely 100%, we have to see Arthur. Arthur has to play in this game after his influence at Wembley, after the way he played in that kind of environment. Play him at the Mestalla. Play him in that really fierce atmosphere, because I think he'll thrive. They'll try and press him. They'll really try and get in his face because of the home crowd behind them. And I think Arthur has got the tools to navigate that. He can get around Valencia's midfield. Valverde spoke about the midfield battle. Now let's win it. As the game goes on, I think we may well see Arturo Vidal. We could see him start here in place of Rakitic, or we could see him start in place of Arthur, which I really don't want to see. And then the front three, Coutinho, Suarez, Messi. This is the last game before an international break. There's no need to rotate here. A lot of the players that you see out on that pitch right now, they're going to get some rest during that international break. Alba, Piqué, Suarez, Messi, none of those players are going to be playing in the next 2 weeks, so play them now, get that familiar team. They played so well at Wembley, and take that here. And like I said with Vidal, as the game goes on, if we want to see Dembele Dembele, if we want to see Malcolm, you can bring those guys on, and I guarantee you they will give you an impact. But start as we mean to go on. They were so good, and for that reason, they deserve to be rewarded. So that is my thoughts on tomorrow's game, guys. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know not everybody will agree with me on that lineup. A lot of you may want to see some changes. That's absolutely fine. So leave your thoughts in the comments down below if you would change anything in that team. My score prediction for tomorrow is Barcelona 2, Valencia 0. I've got good confidence in this one as long as we see the same Barca, as long as we see that same intensity. Get that fire burning. We can do this. I will see you tomorrow. But until then, as always, Vasca el Barça.